You ever get that feeling that there's something about you that you just can't quite put into words? An energy that kind of defines every single interaction you have? Well, today, we're diving deep into the empath's aura. And let me tell you, it is not the simple gift of sensitivity that most people think it is. No, it's something way deeper and honestly, a whole lot more powerful.
This right here, this quote changes everything. It reframes the entire conversation. We're not talking about some soft, gentle personality trait. We're talking about a wound, a source of pain that has literally been transformed, alchemized, into this profound kind of perception. A shadow that was forced to learn how to see in the pitch-black dark.
So let's really dig into that origin story. Because, to truly understand the power of this aura, we have to understand the fire it was forged in.
Okay, so think of it this way. This aura is, at its core, a survival mechanism. See, most people walk around wrapped in layers of psychological armor to protect themselves. But for the empath, that armor had to come off, and usually not by choice. It was a necessity, right? You had to learn to read the room, to sense the unspoken tension, to anticipate moods just to feel safe.
This whole thing often kicks off in childhood. Maybe you grew up in a home where love felt conditional, or where the silence was, well, it was loud and kind of scary. So survival meant becoming this finely tuned instrument, sensing what everyone else needed often before they did. And over time, that constant alarm system doesn't just go away. It becomes a permanent part of who you are, this incredibly powerful, intuitive aura.
And this is where we get to a really crucial point. This highly developed sensitivity, it's a total double-edged sword. It is both this incredible blessing and, at the same time, a very, very serious warning.
On the one hand, your aura is this amazing tool for deep connection and for creating this healing space for people. But here's the flip side. That light you have, it's like a giant beacon for draining energies. It attracts people who are lost, fragmented, or just not ready to do their own healing work. And if you don't have conscious boundaries, they will drain you completely.
And this is the ultimate danger. When your empathy is just running on autopilot, unconsciously, it's not a gift anymore. It's a prison. You get so tangled up in other people's suffering that your own identity just starts to dissolve. You literally lose the line between where they end and you begin.
Just let that one sink in for a minute. That is the unsustainable, brutal reality of unconscious empathy. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? And you for sure can't heal anyone else if you're bleeding out from carrying burdens that were never, ever yours to carry in the first place.
So how do you stop it? How do you stop bleeding out? How do you turn this survival mode into a conscious, powerful tool? Well, the way forward, especially in Jungian thought, is through something called shadow work.
Okay, shadow work can sound really intimidating, but it's actually pretty simple. It's the journey into the parts of yourself that you've been taught to push away or disown. And for an empath who's spent a whole lifetime focused on everyone else, this is probably the most important work you can possibly do. It's about finally turning that powerful perception inward.
And what do you find when you look in the shadow? You're not going to find some evil monster. You're going to find your power. You'll find your healthy anger, the kind that protects you. You'll find that instinct for self-preservation you were taught to ignore. And you'll find your fierce, undeniable right to just say no. These are the very tools you need to protect your gift.
And when you do this inner work, this fundamental shift happens. It's huge. You go from being a passive absorber of energy, basically a sponge, to becoming an active reflector of truth. You become a mirror.
The unconscious empath is a sponge, right? Soaking up every single emotion around them until they're heavy and waterlogged with energy that isn't even theirs. It's exhausting. But the conscious empath, they become a mirror. You reflect other people's emotions and truths back to them with perfect clarity, but you don't absorb them. You can hold space for someone without having to carry their weight. What a game changer.
And this shift, it completely redefines your role in life. You move from being the victim, constantly feeling like you're drowning in this ocean of collective emotion, to becoming the navigator. You're still in the same waters, but now you're steering the ship. You have a compass. You have awareness. And this, right here, redefines the whole purpose of your gift. True, conscious compassion isn't about jumping in and rescuing people from their own lives. It's about holding such a clear, steady space for them that you actually empower them to find their own strength and carry their own burdens. You know, all of this leads to one single, incredibly empowering conclusion. The state of your aura, and by extension your life, it's your choice. It's not some curse or a fate that you're just stuck with.
This is it. This is the perfect image for an empowered empath. You are not meant to be a tiny little rescue boat frantically sailing into every person's storm and getting capsized yourself. No, you are the lighthouse.
And the way of the lighthouse is actually pretty simple, but it's so profound. First, you stand firm. You root yourself in your own truth, your own center. Second, you stay lit. You protect your inner flame, making sure your own energy is nurtured first and foremost. And then, you just shine. Your steady, unwavering presence is what guides people, not you exhausting yourself fighting battles that were never yours to fight.
So what's in the toolkit for this new way of being? Well, it's understanding that boundaries aren't cruel walls, they're gates of clarity. It's knowing that solitude isn't loneliness, it's where you finally learn to hear the language of your own soul. It's realizing that discernment, knowing when to engage and when to step back, is the highest form of love you can offer. And most important of all, your presence, when you are whole, is what's truly healing.
And let's just end on this thought. The rarity of your aura, the real source of its power, isn't that you're perfect or unbroken. It's a testament to your resilience. To have been broken by life, to have felt so much pain, and to still choose to remain open, to feel and to love. I mean, that is the highest form of courage there is.
So, I'll leave you with this question. After everything you've been through and everything you now know, what are you going to choose? Are you going to continue being the sponge, just getting consumed by all the chaos in the world? Or are you ready to claim your power, stand firm, and become the lighthouse you were always meant to be? The choice, as always, is yours.